What's up, El Paso? It's Edgar here with Team Jackie Stevens, having another great podcast. Have a great guest for us today. Guys, I don't need no further introduction. It's the man, it's my man, my business partner, and someone that I can always go to when I want to just get some real, genuine questions. And I thought I'd bring him on today to make it no different. Mr. J, how you doing, sir?
What's going on, man? How are you?
Doing good, man. Again, man, thank you for making some time for us today and our audience that we like to carry here in El Paso, New Mexico areas, and really across the world, right? Because that's what eXp kind of brings in. Just
yes, it does.
Everybody know about what we have to offer all across the board. So thank you again for joining us, guys. If you guys don't know who Jay Kinder is, like I said, he's a national speaker, real estate icon, founder of national I always get this one confused there, Jay, but again, just National Association of Experts here, and definitely it brings in high value. But I like to bring you on here, Jay, just to kind of share with our audience what it means here for you being so successful in what you've always done. You're talking about 20 years plus of real estate experience. I want to say you made your own models, you created your own models to be extremely successful, and you were. What made you make some changes in you? Was it just an open mind that you had? Share that with the audience today, because I feel like that's the only thing I always ask people. Just be open about what we have to share, and just want to get your thoughts on that.
Yeah, so I think first of all, we've always, I think you always have to, we used to say it all the time. It's like there's got to be a better way, right? Like there's got to be a better way. And even though we had a lot of success, building brokerage and building a coaching organization, and as you mentioned, NAEA. I know it's hard to say; everybody struggles with it. So everybody does. And so but all that stuff was we found a lot of success, and our goal's always been trying to add value to agents' lives and help them with growing their business. And we always look for opportunity, and we always say yes to opportunity until we have to say no. And if you have that mindset, it means that, hey, as long as this is in alignment with, well, first of all, I think one mistake a lot of people make is they think they know what it is. They always think they know what eXp is. And most nearly all the time, they're missing a huge piece of the real value proposition that's probably not being articulated to them, or they're not able to find online. And that's because, the true partnership relationship you have with the agents that you're with at eXp, and huge value that comes from that, and tremendous amount of giving back and things that we used to all pay for in our own businesses. And in fact, that we used to charge for and charged a lot of money for. We're able to do that because of this business model and not have to, you have to make those investments. And that's such a big piece of it. When you understand, in any other business, which, eXp is attracting a lot of people like us that, we made a living selling products to real estate agents. And after building a big successful business and selling real estate, that was the focus, was helping other agents. But we had to do it and make money to do it. And so we charged for everything, and we were happy to charge because we felt like the value was there. But the reality is now we don't have to. And, we get paid through eXp's business model and compensated on the back end, if you will, of your success. And so it's like, if I don't help you sell more houses, I don't get paid. And so my incentive is financially, we're financially aligned for the first time ever really in history, I think, for real estate agents to have the kind of people that can help them, and the ability and capacity to help agents be successful is not just dependent now on the company. It's really dependent upon people that you're financially aligned with, which is a brilliant concept when you think about it. But it's vastly different than what you'll find in any other real estate brokerage.
No, absolutely. And I think you touched on it from our, personal take that, Jackie and I, when we first came on to eXp, it's one thing to say eXp, but I think you touched on the relationships, the partnership that you're able to create within our group here. Like I was just talking to you on a one-off, we're a small team. We're up to 5 agents now, but we feel like we're so much bigger because we're all tied into you and our group in its entirety across the globe now, really. And just continues, brings different value, different things that we get to learn that we never would have thought about if our wallets weren't super heavy or big, having to pay big dollars to travel and
right.
invest education. Now we get it within our own group, and I can get on a call with you and say, hey, Jay, let's go ahead and spit some good stuff here to our audience and let them know, this is what we can do together to continue to grow and just be all successful. One of the biggest things that I think EXP has is, and I always laugh about it because they're like, oh, now you're gonna go recruit. I'm like, no, I'm gonna go, in my word, I'm gonna go sell a shit ton of homes. That's what I'm doing, and it's
Right.
not about doing this. And the reason I can say that is because I'm being provided just valuable tools in and out on how to do that. And there's no better way than to do that. And you touched on it, we're not having training systems, CRMs, all that good stuff that people want or need in order to make their business be successful. You had a team. You had a very good team. I mean, you're talking about number 2 Coldwell Banker, top agent. You had it all figured out, selling tons of homes, being extremely successful. What would you say to those people that kind of fit in those same shoes right now? They're doing very well, but yet there's an opportunity out there that you feel like they just don't want to see it,
or they're too busy.
Or too busy, right? So what would you say are things that you can even tell them?
Slow down and do your research before you miss the biggest opportunity that was ever in your lifetime. That's what that's what I'd tell you, because the reality is what we didn't have figured out in our team, and what everyone who's trying to build a team is going to face, is this misalignment in the structure of teams, where you're making a percentage of the commission up to a certain point, and then they want to go out on their own. And you're trying to solve that by creating opportunity for them and giving them a reason to want to stay with you. And you're trying to step out of production at a certain point, or at least get your weekends and evenings back. And that was the piece that was missing. There's no exit strategy. There's no owner. We went independent, right? So what's better than, I got tired of paying Coldwell Banker a lot of money. It was way too much money. I mean, to be honest, if most of us haven't done the math, if you haven't done the math, you should do the math and know how much money you're giving a particular company. And, my dad owned the Coldwell Banker, so I stayed around longer than I normally would have, but it was over $100,000 a year, a lot of money. And, so what can you do with that? What would you invest that in? What could that be worth to you in 10 years? That's just one piece, and then there's the stock that you get in EXP. And, I just read an article yesterday that's talking about this guy. I can't remember the guy's name. I'll have to pull it back up. But he said it's, about every 7 years he sees an opportunity come along that's a company that's just really head and shoulders above anything he's ever seen. And he's like, this one pick is EXPI, which is our ticker symbol. And he pointed to the brilliance in the model, and that there's a lot of pieces to it that are brilliant. But you get, a company gets leveraged by, getting everyone on the same team playing in the same direction. And, in real estate, that just didn't happen. You look across the hall and if your best idea, you ain't probably going to share it with them. Right. Even if you're really an abundance mindset person, if it's your very best idea and they're across the hall from you, you're probably not going to share with them. And, we just don't have that mentality at EXP, because we're all in one global organization, and obviously we have our own groups and things of that nature. But we all feel like we have ownership. We all feel like we're being compensated above and beyond as we bring agents and people on. And hey, I'm going to help that person because people are always helping me. And you just don't have. It's a culture that's it's driven a culture that's driven by the business model and the financial model that's got alignment and compensation for agents that are doing really well to help agents that are needing help. And, that's a cool concept. It sounds real simple. Every time I say it, I'm like, man, I don't think a lot of people get the power behind that, because, the ability to get the kind of people that you can get to answer the phone and jump on a call and help you with something is what I used to pay a lot of money, as before I was a coach, and got to get paid a lot of money, as a coach in a mastermind, holding masterminds and things of that nature. And, I didn't get to spend the time one-on-one because I was busy managing people and leading people to run a coaching organization. So today I get to do stuff like this and actually help people. And that was what I enjoyed about it in the beginning. It's I like helping people. But as you build a big company, you're not able to do that as much. And this is just a beautiful thing. If you're busy, and I get it, there's never a good time to change. And at the end of the day, you're going to blink like that and 10 years are going to go by if it hasn't already for you. And then you're going to blink again and another 10 years will go by. And, at that point, your kids are going to be, older, your grandkids are going to be older or whatever. And you're going to be like, what happened? And, if you had been at EXP and you had all those years been getting stock and just awarded stock, you didn't have to buy it. You can buy it. You can purchase it at a discount of 10% with 5% of your commissions as well along the way. Highly recommend doing that, by the way. But at the end of your career, you have something of value, right? And that's not the case for every real estate agent that I've ever talked to. And so, and even if you do sell, the structure of deals that we've seen, even at the size that we were at, and bigger, mostly bigger, you're lucky if anybody's interested in buying what you have as a real estate agent, because most of the things that we do aren't very scalable and they need you to do them. And it's relationship driven around you and your personality. So it's hard to sell it. And so that's, 1.5 times EBITDA, meaning, 1.5 times the profit is maybe the offer, sometimes as much as 3. But then they ask you to stay on for 2 years, and in the fine print, if you have any attrition of agents, it goes down, and you reclaw back some of that. And that's just the reality. It's like, well, hey man, it might be really good right now, and you might feel like you need to stay where you're at because it's going to disrupt your business. But the reality is like you're not thinking about the future, and that's a huge mistake, and I made it. And so you mentioned it, and I'm like, yeah, I was real successful, all right. A lot of people thought I was real successful. I was also real miserable, right? Like I did not have it figured out. And so when I'm passionate about EXP, it's because I built it as, there's not a lot of people that will endure the kind of pain you have to endure to build an organization that, that's doing that many deals. And there's lots of people that have done better than I have. And people that we've coached that have gone and built, 3 times as big of businesses that I ever built, they can just endure more pain than me. And that's okay if that's what you want to do. I just think the better option is to look at the opportunity of EXP, understand it as best you can, and don't say no until you absolutely know for sure what you're saying no to. That'd be the best advice I could give anybody.
No, and I think that's great advice. And I always say thank you for sharing that, because it always I hate to come out, I get so passionate about it, and I'd like to share it. And then suddenly they're like, well, you're biased. I'm like, of course you're going to feel like you're drinking, people say you're drinking the Kool-Aid. I'm like, hell yeah, I'm drinking this Kool-Aid, because I'm telling you, I'm doing it for my own self. But when I bring you on here and you get to share that experience, again, from somebody that's that was extremely successful. You mentioned something about you were extremely miserable. What were some of the things, especially once you went independent, that you, because there's people that I remember when we first, Jackie's a few hours away from being a full complete broker, and we thought we were ready to make that move, and we got, we just somehow got connected and said, hey, you just want to maybe take a look at EXP and the model that it has. And after that, we're like, why would we want to go and endure, like you said, that pain and that agony when you have so much more to do and still run your business the same way?
Right. I think sometimes, if you're thinking like real tactically about, man, I'm just trying to sell another 10 houses, 50 houses, or 100 houses or whatever, you're on the transaction treadmill, as we say. You're just running as fast as you can, and, turn it up a little bit more, you run a little bit faster. Going independent wasn't that bad compared to the option of paying $100,000 to Coldwell Banker. And so for me, the hardest thing to get my head around as an independent or as a brokerage that might consider an opportunity was like, why on earth would I, especially as independent, why on earth would I go over here and pay anybody anything when I felt like I had all the problems solved as best they could be solved. We had the training organization, we had the tools, we had everything we needed to the tech. We had all of that. So we felt like our value proposition to the agent was like, man, you'd be crazy not to join us if you're going to do anything. Right. And so, but what we didn't have was we didn't have the opportunity as big as EXP had created the opportunity. We didn't have the ability to scale outside of our own marketplace. Every time we moved to a new marketplace, there was more money spent, more legal structure, everything that happens. So you go across to another state, everything changes again. That was really complex. And so depending on how big that vision is, for a lot of folks, the challenge is to check your ego at the door and say, what if I could do what my vision is, and I could do it on this platform of EXP? When you ask that better question, you'll start to see it all come together and see how, okay, this is just a platform for me to do what I'm already doing. I could just do it easier, bigger, faster, without the liability, without the cost and structure, without having to worry about the training piece, without having to worry about the tech piece. I could actually go do what I love, right? And that's what, what most people, and I was be included, ego was in the way. It was checking, I had to, get checked on my ego a little bit, because I was like, wait a minute, is this my ego keeping me from, I'm giving up on something. I'm giving up on my vision, or is this this guy putting something in front of me that's going to help me get there bigger and faster and have more impact on more people's lives? And then once I started asking those right questions, that's when it's starting to get real clear that, we're about to pivot into alignment with EXP, because it was just a better way to do everything we were already trying to do. And that's, I think that's the hard thing for people to do, or in some ways, if you're a broker owner, or, or you got a team or whatever, you have a hard time even taking the time to really investigate it, because you can't imagine what in the world would you do this for, right? You're like, why? But the reality is you're not paying EXP anything. You're getting paid to be the EXP. I'm not paying EXP anything. I'm getting paid to be the EXP. And so, the compensation model allows you to, it created an opportunity that was bigger, and truthfully, probably bigger than what I could have created for myself. I probably would have screwed up along the way with the business model, and done something that took me 2 years backwards. And I think when we said our vision was like 2,000 partners by December 27, 2024, right? 2,000 partners. We're at 8,000 partners at EXP.
Oh, wow.
And when that was 2 years after we created that vision, and obviously it's 2021, not 2024. So this is proof that this platform is a much better way to do it. And so figure out what you don't know, ask questions, assume you're wrong and you're thinking, and you'll probably see what you're missing. And there's a lot to it. There's a lot of things we hadn't even talked about, and benefits and things that you'll get, but you won't ever get it until you're here. You won't understand it until you experience it.
And it's funny you say that, because I think everybody, when you make a change from one brokerage to another, usually it's going to be because you weren't getting the value you should have gotten, whether it's training, whether it's no one-on-one with your broker, whatever the case may be. Everybody's always leaving for a particular reason. We wanted to be able to collaborate, team up with people such as yourself and our group to get bigger and better, set higher ceilings and whatnot. We didn't really understand, to your point, everything that it had to do to help us like exponentially grow. And we're still in the infancy stages, because I ourselves decided to kind of sometimes I reinvent the wheel that's really shouldn't be there. And and so, you kick yourself. So let me ask you that question. How long did, and you can be fair, you can lie to me or the audience. I don't think you will. How long did it pass? I guess the time. How much time passed before you said, no, this is when I'm making the change?
2 times, probably 6 months, 8 months apart.
Okay.
And so first person didn't listen at all. They were trying to explain the business model to me, and all I was hearing is, this guy is talking a lot, and he wasn't asking me any questions. Like he should. If he'd asked me some questions, I probably could have helped him. I didn't know what he knew, right? So people get excited at EXP, and they talk about EXP's stock or revenue share or whatever it is, and this, that, and the other. And it turns people off because they're so excited. They don't know it, but they're so excited, and they just want you to get what they already understand. I didn't understand it. I walked away from that conversation going, man, stock is a big deal. Agents seem to really care about that, right? That was my takeaway. And so I was like, right, like we might need to, do the same type of a deal and go public. And so that was just, my ownership's a big deal. That was my takeaway the first time. The second time, it was actually from a guy that was one of our coaching clients. He's the number one agent in Austin, Texas, Chris Waters. And he said, hey, man, this looks a lot like what y'all are trying to do. And so I watched it, and I actually got really excited about it, the model. But I wasn't thinking about, I did not see that I could do what I was doing on that model. I just saw that, hey, this is really pretty cool. And so, and I had a CFO at the time, and we were sitting on an airplane, and he was looking at it, and he was looking at the numbers and stuff. And was like, that's pretty fascinating. But we didn't really get to the end zone on the math, and nobody, there was nobody leading me. He wasn't going to do it. Chris already had started a franchise. And so he was pot committed what he was doing, but he was like, man, this looks like it's pretty good. And so that was the second time. And then, another, quite a few months go by, and, one of our top coaching clients, one of my best friends, Al Stasic, says, hey man, and we're all trying, we all have these masterminds where we're trying to solve the biggest problem. And it was always recruiting and retention for your teams, or if you're independent or whatever. And so that's always the number one. And how do you get your best agents to stay? And, Al had been investigating it and was like, dude, man, I'm thinking about doing this EXP thing. And, we had a vision that, that was that's contradictory to what I was wanting him to do. Let's just put it that way. And so he wanted me to poke holes in it. And I said, well, I'll poke holes in it. I'm good at poke holes in it. So like, I'll find a problem with it and why it's not a good idea, you know, whether it's a 10-year franchise agreement or whatever, right? Like there's probably something here that's not kosher, right? And I go through it the whole time. I'm like, all right, well, I was being really open-minded because I was trying to see I was trying to poke holes in it, right? I was trying to see like, is this dumb or is this, because I'd never, you know, I've heard of it now 2 times or whatever, but I didn't know anything about the company. And so I was like, well, that sounds really good. Like, it's kind of really interesting, actually. And so I was like, well, shoot. And so then I couldn't stop thinking about it. And I went to one of the events and I met leadership and I got to know the vision of the company and, you know, the people behind it and all the business model and everything and how everything worked. And I saw the opportunity, what it was. And, you know, that was that, you know, but it took me, you know, like a lot of folks, probably just about everybody, you know, it's not until you take the time to look at it. And that's hard for people to understand that, especially when you're busy and you're actually successful and killing it. When you're struggling, it's easy to be like, all right, that's not working. Let me go take a look at this. But when you're busy, it's hard to do. And so, you know, you have to take that time and always be open-minded because, you know, something that you've never seen before could come tomorrow. And for all of us, it's EXP. That's what it is. There's no bigger opportunity. And, you know, you mentioned this actually before we got on the show, you know, the opportunity, right? A lot of folks today look at it and they're like, oh yeah, but we're too late or whatever. I mean, we are at the very, very beginning of this company. And that's what people don't understand is, you know, we're at a small percentage of the agent base. And, you know, it's really hard if you're a brokerage to compete with EXP. And we're going to continue to grow like crazy. The next 3 years, you know, inside the US and Canada, 150,000 agents. That's 3 times more agents that joined the last 3 years I was here. I've been at the company. And so, wow, you know, the opportunity's 3 times bigger over the next 3 years than it was when I joined. It was much, much harder because nobody knew what EXP was. And if you looked in the MLS, there was only agents that didn't sell anything. And so, like, what in the hell is EXP was like the number one objection. And you know, that was really, it took a lot more motivating to get people to look at the business model when nobody, it's like saying, man, I'm not buying a, you know, whatever kind of brand car you've never heard of before, right? Like, and what is that? Right? You just, you don't know what you don't know. And so, you know, today that's not the case, man. We got the top agents from all around the world in this company, and our international footprint is growing like crazy. We just opened Panama. You know, there's, you know, and I don't know how many millions of agents that is total in the world, but, you know, the only way that agents can join this company is to be sponsored by another agent. And what that means for you is that you can create a passive income, significant passive income. And when I say significant, I mean more money than you could probably have ever imagined kind of opportunity. And, you know, anybody can do it. You just have to be open-minded and then learn that there's a process for how to do that and help people see the opportunity. And that's what we do. And we help agents sell more real estate. That's at the foundation of what we do is we help agents. And my son's in here in the other room. You know, I live in Puerto Rico, which wasn't even on the vision board. LeBron James is in my neighborhood this week. It's always some celebrity. Like I'm living a lifestyle that's crazy. I don't even believe it. And, you know, my son's in here building marketing funnels for agents that we bring over EXP. We're helping agents with their business, helping them get leads, helping them grow their business, helping them solve problems. And I've been doing it all day, answering calls. But it's such a cool opportunity to be a part of that and to introduce other people to it and let them say, hey, come on over here. What problems do you have? How can we help you? Like, it's a different feel. Like, it should be every brokerage. Every brokerage should do that. And they probably to some degree try to, but, you know, it's the quality of people that can solve those problems. Most people haven't spent $125,000 a month on Facebook. I have. And so that's a skill level that you learn that you can't just get from, you know, the sales manager that they hired to help you with your goal planning, right? Like, that's just it's this difference in the model of they've attracted the best people in the real estate industry to come partner with you. And, you know, that's a big difference in and of itself. And, you know, it's a beautiful thing. We're fortunate to be here. I'm fortunate to be here. And anybody who's watching, if you're not convinced by now, to at least look at it, you know, I don't know, you probably going to do just fine where you're at. Just stay where you're at. But I'd be happy to help you.
No, I appreciate that, Jane. And I know you are. And like I said, I wanted you to just come on today. I know we're a little bit up against the clock here, and so I just wanted to tell you thank you again, as always, for just being resourceful to us. Always lending your time, that I know it's extremely valuable. But I just feel like just this conversation here, for those that are listening today and that'll listen tomorrow and the next day, slow down. I think that's the best advice that I think Jay shared with you guys today. Just look at it, and stop by, share. And if you guys need some information on it, I'll be more than happy to share that with you guys. I want you guys to win. Jay wants you guys to win.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the more that we implore that across the board, and I never thought about that until we came over to EXP, on how much stuff we share with people nowadays, opposed to before. I used to be very secret. It's kind of like that secret agent, just kind of holding my little secret thoughts. And now I find it so much more that I share, or I'm willing to share, or at least even share an experience with my business partners with you, just to give you some of those questions that you guys have answered. Before I let you go, Jay, if you can just give me 3 reasons why I would say a brand new agent, brand new, just finished their class, should look into EXP. That's 1. Yep. 2, 3 reasons why a agent that's doing okay, that's looking to kind of, take their level of business to that next level where they're trying to grow. And then the last person, these all-stars, people that have a great team, are successful. Why should they consider EXP? And we'll let you go on that.
Yeah, man. So if you're a brand new agent, or you're a new agent and you're struggling, I would say, the number one reason is the network of agents that are going to be able to help you. So the fact that we're all online means that all the content's there, all the training is there, literally 55 hours of training. There's nothing that you need right now that's not been built, and it's not being taught by the top agents in the company. So one of the things we didn't talk about today is that you can earn the 16,000 back in stock, but the agents that are icon agents, that's what that's called. When you hit that level, icon, you actually are the ones that are doing the teaching, and who should be doing the teaching. They're the ones that are successful. So you can learn from the best, right? Like the I don't care where you're at. If you're not going to come to EXP, you should be paying whoever is doing better than you real estate on how to build your business. And so modeling success is a key factor. The second piece is you need the technology. You can't afford the technology. Most of the new agents I've ever met, you didn't get into the business and have $1,000 for coaching and $1,000 for technology to run your business and generate leads for you. You may or may not, most of you do not have enough past clients is the next stage, I would say, but you don't have enough of a sphere of influence or background in real estate to convince them to do business with you when you get into real estate. And so you do a really low number of deals going out. So you have to learn how to lead generate and generate business. And having the technology is a big piece of that. That's number 2. Number 3 is the business model, the opportunity to earn a passive income ultimately, and also the stock is another piece of that. So I think those are three good reasons, the guidance that you get and all of that to go with it. The second, the second level, if you're feeling kind of stuck, but you're doing pretty good in production, I think for most of you, that might mean that you're at icon level, depending on what market, what the average sell price is. That might be 30 transactions or somewhere in that range. Stock is a big deal. I think if you look back 10 years from today, number one, you're going to reach up and talk to people that can help you get from where you're at to where you want to go. So if you're hungry and you want to grow, then you're going to have the people to help you get to that next level and become an icon, get the stock back. And that's another piece that I think is really important. And again, I think having the right people around you is a big piece of that as well. The collaborative piece, collaboration just sounds like such a boring word, and I can't give it the life that it deserves. But the people that you're going to be connected with, specifically, with us and the group that we've created, it's just it's an unbelievable thing to be able to tap into. And so, it gives you a lot of hope that you can do it and go to the next level. And then the superstars, I mean, it's opportunity of a lifetime, I think, for this category to, number one, build your business more sound. I think that, when you get in a group of people that we have, $200 million, $300 million, $500 million producers and a bunch of them, the little systems and things carry a lot more weight right? So the things that we solve for you are not $200 problems; they are $200,000 problems, right? They're revenue streams and different things that you can structure to get more higher margin and to get more of your life back and put the right people in the right places, so you don't have to do all the work and all of those pieces. Becoming the CEO of your own business, that's that those relationships will be key to you. And then, the stock is obviously going to be a big piece. I know people that have more than $1 million worth of stock have been in the company less than 2 years just because they chose to buy a little bit as it goes up and a little bit as it goes down. And they're just buying stock along the way as a part of the business model. Not like they had to say, oh, I got to commit check. I got to go buy some stock. It's built into the system. You can say, well, I don't have to do that. I don't have to. I can buy the stock where I'm at. Okay, well, show me how much you bought, and let's see how that looks in 10 years. We're not that disciplined, and so it's just one of those things that you're better off being in a company that has a process to help you build your wealth, and that's a cool piece. And then the last piece, the revenue share for you as an all-star, you've created a name for yourself in the industry. You probably know people inside of the market, outside of the market you're in. And introducing them to this opportunity could be the biggest thing that you've ever created for yourself as a passive income. And so that's the pieces. And then it's going to take a lot of the pressure off of all the things you're trying to do every day with all the value that's being delivered: healthcare, the stock, the revenue share, the technology, the training that goes along with all of that technology. And then the people and relationships that get created. It's crazy. It sounds like you're probably happy where you're at. I mean, that's what most people are. You're not unhappy where you're at, but that's because you've never been in a place like this. And you'll be so happy when you come over here. You'll be telling everybody that you missed to come over with you. And so don't be the last one to do it, because it's always better to be first than it is to be last. So, but that's it, man. That'd be the
Dang. That's it, man. Fuego, fire. That's what my guy brings every time we have him on. Like I said, I try to bring Jay at least 4 times a year. I know we're on number 2 so far, so we'll definitely be bringing you on some more, Jay. Thank you so much, man. I know you got to jump off here. I want to thank you as usual, brother. Thank you so much for being in business together, and we'll stay in touch. Okay, bud. See you next month.
So Jack, yes, and I.